Okay, well, it's 5:30, so why don't we begin?
Okay.
My name is Ryan Hamilton, and I'm tech support for this session. And the session is Basics for a Peace Builder Club. And this is the first of three similar sessions that take you through the process. And our presenter today is Jessica Bouillon, and she's from Seattle 4 Club, and she's also the district chair of the District Peacebuilder Committee. And so just before she gets going, I'll advance to the next slide here. And it's always good to remember for every one of these presentations why we do this and how it fits in to the vision of Rotary. And the vision of Rotary is together we see a world where people unite and take action to create lasting change across the globe in our communities and in ourselves. Just one thing, you've probably been through a few of these presentations, and it's really easy to ask a question. You can use the Q&A button when something comes up, and so just type your question in, and then at the end we'll ask the questions. And you can also use the raise hand feature. And what we like to do is have you ask the question. So we'll just unmute you, and then you'll be able to ask your question. That way we can have a little discussion. And Jessica indicated she was going to allow plenty of time for discussion too. So with that, Jessica, why don't you take over?
Great. Thank you very much. We can keep clicking through. If you click to the next, I think. There you go. Hi, everybody. I'm really excited to be here with you all. I wanted to give sort of a little welcome hello to everybody in case I don't know some folks. And I'm really glad we're going to unmute you later on so that I can hear other voices aside from myself. Thank you very much, Ryan, for helping me here. I feel so much less alone doing this with your support. I just decided to create a little bit of a hello to you all so you can get a chance to see who I am. As you have heard, I'm a Seattle 4 Rotarian, and I serve on the Peacebuilders Committee. And I'm very proud to be a Peacebuilder chair for the district. And I'm very excited for the year ahead with you all. And then I thought, what fun can I share with you? And so, some pictures of my beagle. I hope that's, for some of you animal lovers, will warm your heart a little bit. That little guy turned 9 years old just a few weeks ago. And this is a little bit of a disclaimer slide as well, because he is a beagle and he is here with me because he always is. We've done a lot of preparation today in hopes that he will be very quiet. But I will apologize ahead of time in case something comes out of his mouth that I hope does not while we're together. Ryan, you can keep on going for us. Thank you. So we are doing, as Ryan said, I've decided to embark on 3 different sessions for our peace building, and I'm hoping this is going to really be sort of a rocket launch for all of us in our 2020-2021 year, hopefully post-COVID, so that we can actually all get together again at some point. So today is a bit of a foundational kind of a session, and some of you who are on the call, and I'm really excited to hear from you all later to understand sort of where we are in the spectrum. You could be advanced peace builders already and just want this as a refresher. I hope there are some folks here from clubs who are really excited about adding some peace building efforts to your club. And then I'm really hoping you'll see, as we build up to our second and third sessions this week, how all of those things will connect to our district efforts. And I really am excited about trying to connect all of our clubs together and all of our peace building efforts together. So I don't intend to read this word for word. I just want to really share bits from the deep dive that I did in the last week and a half or so as I was preparing for this, to remind us all that Rotary International has made peace a very important part of the mission of our organization I'm very excited to actually share with you some history that I've been digging through about peace and Rotary. And I'm hoping that this will be a bit of a motivation for folks who are thinking about peace building efforts, maybe a little bit on the fence about taking a deep dive into something else, that you'll really see this as a mission for Rotary. And I hope you'll also see, as I do, that peace is a huge mission for our country and for the world today and for certain tomorrow. So I hope that we will converge together so that we can wage peace. And so peace is the cornerstone of our mission, and we do that. Various clubs do it in a variety of ways. Service projects, supporting peace fellowships. We will talk a lot more about that in upcoming sessions, and scholarships. And really, you don't have to leave a stone unturned, which is really exciting about some of the projects that you can embark on. Ryan, the next slide, please. So as I was sort of digging through this interesting history, I found, and this is actually from, and I'm credited underneath here on the slide in case you all want to dig deeper later, but the District 7070 in Ontario, Canada, their Peacebuilder chair, actually district chair, wrote a very brief but really fascinating history about peace and Rotary. And to be perfectly honest with you, I didn't even know a lot of this, especially sort of in this cohesive way that they've explained it. So I did want to, and I apologize that I'll look down a little bit because I confess I did not memorize this, but there are some highlights that I would love to share with you as we continue to sort of kick off peace building in our district in a much more comprehensive way is my hope. And I think there's a lot in here that will show you just how much inspiration can be had based on our longtime history and some of the themes have been, even in our recent history as Rotary International. Peace has been one of Rotary's top goals almost since the day that Paul Harris founded Rotary International in 1905. In 1914, at a convention, there was a resolution adopted that was proposed by the Club of Hamilton, Ontario, that the International Association of Rotary Clubs, quote, lend its influence to the maintenance of peace among the nations of the world. Again, this is 1914. Post-World War II, there was a lot of Rotary action going on in trying to aid in the advancement of international peace and goodwill through a fellowship of business and professional men of all nations united in the Rotary ideal service. So again, as we're talking about ending World War I, and again, prior, peace was a part of Rotary. Very interestingly, Rotary's proactive stance toward peace building did not go unnoticed. Arch Klumpf was quoted by President Theodore Roosevelt as saying, so this is President Roosevelt saying, "I thoroughly believe in the idea of meetings such as Rotary International. No alliance is necessary between governments whose people understand and sympathize with each other. Contact between men such as," it's always hard for me, men, and I'll say now women, but that's not part of the quote, "such as compose Rotary International will certainly contribute towards mutual understanding." Arch Klumpf was the president of Rotary in 1917, and he was quoted as saying, "a force that has taken on an impetus that cannot be diminished," and that was the peace efforts in Rotary International. And peace continued to become a really important and prominent part of the Rotary's efforts. This I found really fascinating and had truly no idea. This is in 1940. The Rotarian published a commentary that came out of the Rotary International Convention in Havana, Cuba. So in 1940, they had their convention in Havana, Cuba. Long before there was a United Nations, before human rights was even a term most people understood, Rotarians in that around that convention in Havana, adopted a resolution calling for, quote, freedom, justice, truth, sanctity of the pledged word, a respect for human rights. It was a major milestone in Rotary history, I'll say. It threw down the gauntlet and said, in effect, that Rotary has no interest in the religious or public affairs of your country, this being Cuba, but if you do not treat your people with the rights any human being deserves, then Rotary cannot operate here. And then as time is going on, Rotarians in Europe looked beyond the bombs that were continuing to rain down on cities across the continent and began planning the peace that would ultimately have to come. Their fellow British Rotarians convened a conference to discuss what would happen after the guns of war had been silenced and how they could promote cross-cultural understanding to avoid future conflicts. Again and again they met, drawing more expatriate leaders into the caucus. When peace had finally dawned, this group evolved into, I had absolutely no idea about this, UNESCO, the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization. So Rotary is at the forefront in sort of the birth of UNESCO, the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization. Ryan, you can flip to the next slide. I had heard this recently, I think from one of Bill McElroy's presentations on the history of Rotary, but it was still new to me. I think it's still phenomenal. So we just talk about UNESCO. And now Rotary had also played a pivotal role in forming UNESCO's parent organization, the United Nations. So this is still a new fact for me, and I'm still blown away by it. Nearly 50 Rotarians served as delegates, advisors, or consultants at the UN Charter Conference in San Francisco in 1945. And 5 Rotarians subsequently served as president of the UN General Assembly. And they're named, and again, I can share with you this later if you want to dive even deeper than I. The UN developed a program to hire interns for all parts of the world to spend 8 weeks studying international relations in the United Nations. The Rotary Foundation provided a grant of $6,000 to help cover housing costs for housing, food, and incidental expenses for those UN interns. And then with this newly charted United Nations wrote the Declaration of Human Rights, which is why I had to include one of my Shiros here holding the Declaration of Human Rights in 1948. And it was they used the resolution from Rotary Havana Convention as a framework. That I did not know as well. So I hope this isn't boring. I hope you're as blown away by this history as I am of peace and really the importance and the intrinsic importance of this to human rights. I also live and breathe this work in my daytime life as well. So I continue to be blown away by this, these efforts of our fellow Rotarians. So now we're going to fast forward. The 50s and 60s come along, and almost every Rotary Foundation program was designed to improve cross-cultural understanding through people-to-people exchanges or shared projects. So I am saying all this too to say that I'm going to encourage a lot of idea sharing and partnerships and collaborations as we go along in forming hopefully new peace clubs for folks who are potentially thinking about that, for taking existing peace building efforts to the next level. So I'm hoping that you'll remember some of this. Speeding quite along now into the 80s, a growing number of Rotarians called on the organization to do even more to promote peace. So in 1992, Rotary International's World Understanding and Peace Committee discussed the creation of a permanent forum for promoting peace. The New Horizons Committee received many suggestions, encouraging Rotary to be a more forceful advocate for peace. And in 1982, the trustees agreed to quote unquote authorize, on a trial basis for 3 years, the annual award of 6 Rotary Foundation scholarships, one from each region of the world, for the study of international relations, world peace, or international behavior. And so some of you who know some more of the history of Rotary and the Foundation and Peace Fellows and our Peace Centers are seeing where this is going. In 1988, Rotary International President Charles Keller, sorry, Ryan, you can go one slide over now, convened the first Rotary Peace Forum in Illinois, bringing together experts on international relations and government officials, Rotarian leaders, to consider this topic, non-governmental organizations and the search for peace. So again, I think what I like about this kind of thread here is that peace just keeps coming up, no matter the topic and no matter sort of the area of focus. This event was so well attended, and the outcome was so constructive that the additional Rotary Peace Forums were held in various cities around the world. As we sort of fast forward to, and there are certain pieces that I am just for time's sake for us gonna skip over, but not to say that they're unimportant. So I do encourage folks to go back and kind of dig yourselves, or I'd be more than happy to share this with you offline. In the mid-90s, while also in Illinois, the Rotary International President at the time, Sabu, from India, was pondering an appropriate way to commemorate the 50th anniversary of our founder, Paul Harris's death. And while he was there, a perfect place, seeing a lot of universities around him, specifically Northwestern University, he thought, well, they have a school for management. Why don't we have a Rotary School for International Peace Studies? He believed it would be a place where we could develop people who might later go on to become civil servants, prime ministers, foreign secretaries, and presidents. So by 1999, trustees of the Rotary Foundation committed $2 million for the creation and support of Rotary Centers for International Studies in Peace and Conflict Resolution. And that was the beginning of doing that in 7 universities. That was a watershed moment for our foundation's history. And the idea was to elicit scholarship applications from one new Rotary Peace Fellow engaged in peace building and conflict resolution for a 2-year master's degree. A 2-year master's degree, all paid for through the Rotary Foundation. Again, we still do this in very large ways. And as a district, there are implications because we are a peace district through the Rotary Centers that I'm going to be talking to you more about on our 3rd session. And I'm really excited, all the sessions are blurring in my mind, in our 3rd session, because I'm really hoping that we can really, as a district and then even individual clubs, may take this on as more of an interest to support some fellow support the Rotary Centers and our fellow, and some fellowships, sorry. Rotarians have always tried to help peace percolate from a grassroots level, and I would love to remind folks of that, especially as you see some more of the projects that we're going to have some folks share, especially in tomorrow evening's presentation, and that peacemaking is a local matter first. Another really important reminder. I think this is a really interesting piece as we sort of wind down on the history, is that the piece, again, has been much more than a theme, but really a focus and a part of Rotary International's mission from the beginning. But through themed years, peace has popped up in many different ways. And whether or not it's going to be a peace theme year, obviously as we're moving forward, or while you're involved in your peace building efforts, I thought that some of these were really inspirational, and I'm hoping that you'll maybe take some notes and see how we can utilize some of these. World understanding and peace through Rotary was one theme. Rotarians united in service, dedicated to peace is another. Act with integrity, serve with love, work for peace. And there was another one that is on the sort of collage I created, be a gift to the world. And that was a theme for the Peace Forum held in Ontario, California this past year. My last bit, as this frames out sort of our history, is Rotary's involvement in peace is driven from clubs and districts, supported by the Rotary Foundation, under the guidance of the District Peace Committee, and it provides, so I'm hoping that I will be sort of your bridge to providing this education, encouragement, and hoping that tonight's presentation and our discussion will allow you to be inspired. I hope that little bit of history inspires you to want to dig into doing more peace work in your clubs. Ryan, you can keep ticking along here. This is a very short video that I thought was, I watched it a few times and debated on showing this, but I think it's really actually a very nice way to just show Rotary Peace's, Rotary International, and how we all can promote peace.
I turned on my video just so you can see the confused look on my face when I try to share this out. So amazing history, Jessica. I had not a clue of that.
I had not a clue of 3/4 of it.
Yeah, so let me.
I hope it was new for a lot of people.
I'm going to stop sharing, I think, and share screen. Go to should be on here someplace. Slideshow. 1 minute. I gotta find. I must not have had it open on my browser. I'm gonna find the link here. So I'm not.
Also, don't sweat it if it's.
Found it. No.
Okay, see, there you go.
Yeah. Actually, I found it on here, but let me share out this screen. I nearly found it. How's that? Yeah. And go to share screen. Go to share screen. Interesting. Advanced. I think I'm not going to sweat it because
Don't sweat it.
I can't.
We can move right along.
Yeah, well, let's move along. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to share out your presentation again. My apologies there.
No, that's quite all right.
Okay. Oops.
You can just skip, just keep flipping along the slides. And anybody who is interested in if you don't want to dig as far as I dug, then please feel free to reach out to me. I'm giving all my contact information at the end of each session anyway. I'd be more than happy to provide links. So that's why this is nothing to sweat whatsoever.
I'll send the link in the chat window as well.
Oh, perfect. Excellent. Thank you. See all the behind the scenes tech stuff that I am absolutely not good at. This is again another slide to remind everybody kind of what I think I was saying in this history, which is just that the central part of our mission in Rotary is empowering each other, which is really something I'm really excited to get going with you all. COVID or no COVID, I hope we can connect in person for sure when we all start reconvening at our Rotary meetings, via phone and via Zoom as we're doing as we move along before that, because I'm really hoping that as Rotarians, both individually in our own clubs and through our district, that we're going to be able to advance this idea of world understanding, goodwill, and peace. And I'm sure I'm speaking to the choir. I am devastated, to say the least, that hate is still, permeating so much of our society, especially in a time of a pandemic. And so I believe that now more than ever, we're going to need our effort, these peace building efforts. I'm very excited because our incoming district governor, Kathy Gibson, as I'm sure everybody knows, is very much a proponent of peace. And we have been partnering since I joined, I feel like, Rotary a few years ago. And I think that we will all have no problem in pushing peace to the finish line throughout this next Rotary year. Ryan, you can keep flipping along. So this is just a little teaser. It is to explain a little bit, because the history then brings us to this idea of Rotary Peace Centers. And through support of the Rotary Peace Centers, districts can help elevate the efforts that some of the efforts I was talking to you all about. We're going to talk more, and actually I'm very excited because Kathy Gibson will join us at our third session on Thursday on the whatever millionth day we all are in here of being home. So I apologize. I'm still trying to keep all my dates and days straight with you all. But this is just a little teaser to say very proudly that we at District 5030 are an official Rotary Peace Center Peacebuilder district. And I think that we all should take a great deal of pride in that. And part of what that means is that we as a district have allocated a minimum of $25,000 annually in our sort of advised funds to be able to donate to Rotary Peace Centers and all of what they support. So we are really on the front lines, and that's really exciting. And I just want to keep that there as a teaser because we are going to dive a little deeper into what that means and talk about the fellowships as well, and how we can support people in their higher education and sort of executive development along the way. Did I hear a voice? Ryan, you can keep going. Okay, so this is my my quick slide to say that I would like to take a minute to survey the group. That's my anticipation face in the middle there. Ryan is going to help me just do a poll with you all, which is just take a few seconds to answer for me. I'd love to hear. Are you interested in beginning your club's peace building efforts during this upcoming Rotary year? Please be honest. Already a Peace Builder club doesn't necessarily mean that you don't want to take it to the next level, but it will just help me understand who's also on the call, so that if you already are a Peace Builder club, you're going to be in a little bit of your separate category. So answer honestly.
We're almost finished. 13 of 17 have voted already. So
excellent. A few more seconds for folks.
Yeah. Okay, last call. I'm going to end the polling.
Thank you.
So the results, I get to share them out here. Very exciting. And
ooh, we have a bit of a tie. That's interesting. Not sure. Okay, that's kind of good for me to know that I have work cut out for myself, and I welcome that. That's great. So interesting that we've got a group. We've got folks who are already Peace Builder Club, and we have folks on even 38% who are interested. That's great. Okay, so more to come with all of those results in the next sessions as well. And Ryan, you can keep on moving us along. So we have district clubs with peace projects, and this is truly just an overview of some of these clubs with peace projects. Tomorrow evening, what we are doing is sort of each session that we're doing this week is taking you to the next level. So I'm really excited to share that we have the picture on your right is from a amazing project in Woodinville from the Woodinville Rotary. The picture that I've shared on the left is a peace pole from the Rotary Club of Mercer Island, both of which will be featured tomorrow night in our presentation. And luckily, you won't have to hear only from me. So keep your eye out. This slide also is to say to you all, if we're missing someone for some reason, a club who is doing peace projects that we don't know about for some reason, then I would love to hear from you and love to hear from them so that we can coalesce and make sure that this list is accurate and that we can reach out and make sure that we're all communicating. Ryan, you can keep us moving. So for the people who are not yet a Peace Builder club, but are thinking about it and probably getting really close to saying they're very excited to get going, I want to share that this is absolutely doable, and this is something that really doesn't take a whole lot. It takes your passion and it takes your inspiration from other Rotarians, other Rotary clubs, and I hope the history that you heard earlier about Rotary International to say that this is something that we can do at a club level. And this is what it takes. This is sort of the quick hit list, so to speak. So connect with some fellow Rotarians and your club leadership if you're interested in, dipping your toe. If you look here, if you want to establish a peace building committee, the second bullet, it truly takes, 2 club members. So it doesn't mean you have to round up a crew of 10 or 15 people. Obviously, as you go and dive deeper into projects and efforts and all of that, then you'll want to galvanize more folks, but you start somewhere. So getting a couple of people to join your committee, and you have a peace building club that we can get going. Connect with fellow Peacebuilder clubs and committees. I really want to make this a priority and something that's easily accessible, and we'll start talking a lot more about that even offline after our Festival of Trainings this month, to find ways that we can all connect easier if it isn't already something that you find to be easy throughout our entire district. I mean, our district does span geographically. I didn't include a map. Maybe I should have, to show how we span north and south, and then even east of sort of the Seattle area. And so we have a lot of folks to draw from and to help us with these efforts. So I hope we'll find ways of connecting with folks and then also connecting as a district. I wanted to make sure that you were aware of and a lot of the amazing resources that I'm going to continue to share with you. And there is a dedicated slide to this, so don't feel free to not have to scribble so quickly if you are trying to take notes throughout this. But I want to make sure that you know about the Rotarian Action Group for Peace. It was something that I honestly didn't know about until I was told. And I'm thrilled that I was told, because it is truly a treasure trove of peace for everyone. Interestingly enough, it does sort of feel like home ish, because they're based right here in Portland, Oregon. So they're our neighbors. But it is an amazing group that you should be involved in. There's a $50 annual membership fee, but it is worth every single penny. I can't even explain to you, though I will a little bit more as we go along in the sessions to rev up some of your efforts. But there is a map that they have to pin Peacebuilder clubs that you can literally go from the world and then disseminate down into your own community and your own district. They have immense and wonderfully beautiful marketing materials that you do not have to recreate, but that you can use. Obviously, you're connecting to them and everybody else now who's also a member. They have a wonderful newsletter, absolutely free. You don't even have to join as an annual member to get that newsletter at the very least. So I say follow the link that I'll be giving to you later in a few slides, and at least do that. Get their monthly newsletter and just see the information that they share. And then one thing that I do want to encourage, and I'm really excited that I found that it was encouraged through all of the sort of international and the Rotarian Action Group, really hopes that this will happen. And I'm really going to hope that this happens for us and try to push in a really wonderful way for this to happen. But to build out our district peace committee, having at least a member from your own Peacebuilder committee at your club to join our larger committee at the district level is going to be amazing for all of us. It'll be the direct bridge to every single club that's doing peace building efforts, and will allow us all to share information and to partner with one another, and then to come together for some larger, I hope, events and gatherings and special commemorations when we come together as a district. So keep that in mind. It hasn't necessarily happened all the time, but I really want to encourage that. And that'll be something that you'll hear from me when I reach out to specific clubs after our Festival of Training is complete. Ryan, you can keep us moving along. This is a little bit, this is sort of a preview. I mean, just a very small preview of what the Rotarian Action Group for Peace shares with folks. And the engage, educate, and empower is something that they promote very, very well. And it is something that I think very easily we can all promote in our own clubs when you're thinking about establishing a peace builder committee and sort of making your club a peace builder club. If you're thinking, oh my God, what are we supposed to do? How are we going to do this? Again, go back the last slide, very simple. How can we engage some folks? And then, you know, who will be part of this? And then put in the forefront of your mind, engage, educate, empower. And what does that mean? You can utilize a lot of the resources out there, and you can also obviously take this and run with it. So I want to show, and I'm hoping that sort of my lasting impression on you all today, if you haven't started a Peace Builder club, is that this is very, very doable. I feel so passionate about it that it's so important for all of us. I would love to see all of our clubs doing something like this. But let's start with this is a place to start. Excuse me, I'm losing my words. Ryan, you can keep us going. So here is the promised slide. This is for the resources and ideas and a network. Again, we will make, I think most of you are probably already aware that these trainings are being recorded. You'll have all of these slides. We will make everything available and accessible to you. So if you aren't getting any of the notes down because you want to, or you're not taking notes and you're just paying attention tonight, you will have all of this information. But I just want you to sort of get it. If you don't even sort of recognize their logo, I really wanted you to have a chance to see all of this. So that's the point here. Honestly, the $50 annual membership is truly worth it. So I encourage everybody to if you have energy tonight, just even sign up tonight and be a part of this group. Ryan, you can keep us going again. So this is another little sort of tease. It is number one, this is here because first and foremost, if you don't know, that there is an International Day of Peace that happens around the world every September 21st. Then, if you are already aware of that, I hope that you are aware that you could and should make this a really prominent day for peace building efforts. Every September 21st, we have sort of a wonderful excuse to come together and to celebrate and promote peace. I also am putting this here as a little teaser. We will come back to this and dive a little deeper into this on our third session when we talk more about the district efforts. It'll come about tomorrow as well for some of the examples that you'll hear from folks from other clubs who have done a great job. I don't want to ruin anything, so I'm just not going to say anything more than just please tune in to our other sessions. But the teaser part for this is to say that we really want to utilize the International Day of Peace, September 21st, on or around, depending on obviously the day of the week that it falls each year. But this is our chance to make this a really important and wonderful commemorative event, and very engaging and very interactive throughout the entire district every year. I really am hoping, obviously there's a lot of unknowns for all of us as to how we're going to gather, if we're going to gather by fall, but I would love to get folks who are thinking about, number one, peace building efforts in your own club, or two, if you want to, because I am hoping that there are folks in the audience who want to join our district peace building efforts and committee. So if you are thinking about it, you're still on the fence, or you're wondering what we might be able to do, September 21st, this is it. And in one way or another, I hope it's in person, but if we are going to continue a virtual life, that we will be doing something on this September 21st International Day of Peace this year. Ryan, you can keep on going through. So we are going to, again, I'm giving you, in some cases, maybe too many teasers. I hope not. But this is a little bit, this is a sort of a brief umbrella, sort of larger scale sketch of what our 50-30 peace building goals are for this coming Rotary year 2021. we will talk a lot more about this to come on Thursday afternoon session. So I do hope that you'll see a little bit of the purposeful puzzle pieces I'm trying to put together for these sessions. But for folks who can't necessarily join us for whatever reason, or just wants to have a better understanding of how I would like our clubs to then connect to peace building goals at the district level, I want to share this with everybody. And I don't know if folks I'd love to hear more from you all, which is why I want to hurry up and be quiet so that we can hear from you all. But some of the peace building clubs who may have done peace book clubs, the Rotarians Action Group talks about this as well, actually. The Seattle 4 Rotary has been doing a wonderful peace book club. It took a little while to get off the ground, but it is something that I hope more clubs will consider. And depending on size of clubs, and again, depending on efforts, I would love to have a book club that we can all, as a district, get behind. And I want to have an ambitious goal of reading 2 different books a year. So a fall selection is my hope, and maybe like a spring selection, loosely. And to then really bring together in a variety of ways. We read the same book, kind of like a one book, one community kind of concept, and then we gather, however, again, that's going to look for us, and discuss really important topics. Clearly, there's going to be a whole lot that we can take under the umbrella of peace, and I will be sharing in a variety of ways. I'm hoping to get some input from you all, do a survey. We'll find really great and equitable ways to get our choices down. But I'm hoping there's going to be a lot of interest in this, and so this is my chance to sort of debut some of the goals, and this is the first. It's really, really important to me, and almost I have to catch myself, because this is actually a very emotional goal, the second, which is to really commit to our district. Obviously, it's a really important, it's just an important peace effort, and it's an important humanitarian effort throughout the world to really think about what diversity, equity, and inclusion means. And when I say this, and again, we'll talk much more about this to come in our subsequent sessions, but to keep this in the forefront of your mind. This is really important. I'm really emotional about it because of some of the the news that we've heard. I can't get Ahmed Aubrey out of my mind, for example. And I want you to take away from that this is a huge undertaking, obviously, but we all have to take one step, even just dip one toe into this. And so I will try to shepherd this as the chair of our district in our peace building efforts, so that this is not intimidating, and this is something that we can welcome, and something that we can really dedicate ourselves to as a district and within clubs in small ways. And we can then grow as much as clubs are ready to do. But that is going to be something that I need to talk and want to talk to everybody more about. It's very important. The next thing is to grow the district Peacebuilder committee. And so I've mentioned a few ways in which that's going to happen. And again, I'll elaborate more on that during our third session on Thursday. But this is to say that if you have any interest whatsoever in doing more at the district level, whether or not you are a Rotarian in a club that has a peace builder effort going for you, I hope that I'm going to get a chance to hear from you. And if you are attending tonight, but you can't attend on Thursday, when we elaborate a little bit more, also don't let that stand in your way. If there is an interest, I would love to hear from you. And it is going to be, again, you can see it's a primary goal for our district this coming year to grow that committee so that we can do more together. And then this is sort of a challenge goal, and I'm really set on making this happen. And I would love, of course, to exceed this number. But very interestingly, from the poll that we took earlier, 3 districts, let's say, were on, because it was, I know it could be multiple people from one club, but it just seems interesting. I would love to get 3 more clubs in our district to become Peacebuilder clubs and to form committees on their clubs to start some efforts. So that's sort of our challenge goal that I'm really excited about, and we'll see what happens. Ryan, you can keep us going to the next slide. This is just an amazing event that's happening. So I really want you all to, I guess nowadays we can zoom in instead of tune in. My humor is geeky. I'm sorry. I'm trying to make fun of this zooming that we're all doing. And so this is an advertisement for an amazing club that I've gotten a chance to get to know over the last year, the Club of Mercer Island. As everyone, they are putting all of their luncheons online, and this is going to be a very, very special guest tomorrow, and I'm just encouraging folks, if they have the chance, I'm sure everybody's got so many Zooms going on in their lives these days, but for a half an hour presentation from Slade Gordon on civil discourse and the road ahead, and then linking it back to some of the important goals that we have at a district. If you've got a chance to sit in on this, I highly encourage it. And so that's my little plug for them. Ryan, you can keep us moving. So I also want to make a plea to people. We have a Rotary group, a Rotary 5030 Peace Building group on Facebook. I do realize that not everyone necessarily is on Facebook. I am going to try to sort of also poll everybody as we continue to find other ways that might be easy to connect. But for the folks that are on Facebook, if you aren't yet, please find our page. If you are, please invite fellow Rotarians to join our page. Tell people about this page. It's a private group in essence, because I just don't want, all this crazy social media world that we're living in to sort of infiltrate. But all you have to do, I get notices all the time from folks who just say, they want to join. Obviously, I can see that they're connected to our Rotary district, or at least Rotary in general, because if people want to learn about our district, I will accept you. I just quickly accept you, and then you're in our community. I'm not the only one who needs to post. I'm grateful when a few other folks post as well. I'm the administrator for this. I created this page, but by no means do I want to be the driver. I'm more than happy to share information for sure, but I'm really hoping that this is one way that we can come together as a peace building district and share ideas, I put up for example, I put up the Mercer Islands event for tomorrow. Other people do the same thing. Sometimes it's just a little motivation, even whatever it takes. I would love folks to engage in this group. So please find us. To get a hold of me in particular for anything peace building for our committee, down below here, I created a Gmail account for us, and so it's rotarypeace5030@gmail, and that's to send me anything and everything at any time that you would like for all things peace building in our district that I can help. And obviously, I'm not embarrassed to say that I don't know everything, but I'll certainly find ways for us to get answers and to connect. Ryan, you can flip us one more. So one more survey, and always this middle person is me, anticipating your answers. Ryan, if you can help us with one more.
Yeah, let's put it in here.
So this is a little bit, I'll tease here and say this is a little bit about, have I inspired you? But in all seriousness, again, this is just, this is helpful information truly to know. So if anybody can just let me know, are you interested in taking your club's peace building efforts to the next level? Sort of based again on what you've heard from this evening. And hopefully I've inspired you at least to tune in to one of the other, if not both, sessions that we're doing this week. Let us know.
We're at 14 out of 20 have replied. So we'll close it in 10 seconds. Okay. Oh, there we go. 90% reporting. So we'll hear the results here.
Oh, okay. Unsatisfied. Okay, good. I'm actually thrilled to hear we got no no's tonight from anybody from these surveys. That's really encouraging. I love that people seem to be excited. 72% are ready to get going. So that's yay. I feel like my work here is done. I will sleep well tonight. Not sure, also fair, and I'm actually very happy that people are being honest. You know, these things I feel like can be intimidating. Do we want to all take on one more thing? So thank you for your honesty as well. And for those people who are satisfied with their efforts, then I hope you will help us by sharing a lot more. And I hope to be at least the sort of conduit to allow you to share and do better at trying to get the word out so that we can hear more about your amazing efforts. So thank you all for that. Ryan, you can flip us along. So don't hang up yet. Don't click off the screens yet, because if you can stay with us, I would love to kind of have this opened up to questions and such. But I want to remind everybody about our next session, but also this is a really, really important note that I need to make tonight too, that sort of a last minute little tweak we had to make. So first, tomorrow night, Tuesday, which is really important to me these days because I don't know what day it is anymore, is take club peace building to the next level. So if those people who said yes, or even not sure, I hope that you will try to designate someone from your club to join us tomorrow, because I think that you're going to really get excited about seeing some of the other clubs who have been doing some amazing peace building efforts. But it says 5:45. There's an issue with Zoom that you sort of have to start on the hour or on the half an hour. So we're actually starting tomorrow at 5:30. You will be able to sign in. Ryan and I, mostly Ryan, is totally ready to go with allowing people in, and you'll just miss a little bit, and we're going to recap if for some reason folks join us at 5:45 and don't get the word. However, we're going to start at 5:30. Write that down if you're joining, and then please help us spread the word. If you know anybody who wants to join tomorrow night, and they're seeing 5:30 on everything we've been trying to share, 5:45, then tell them it's 5:30. So just a slight 15 minutes, but 15 minutes, we try to move things along in these sessions. I don't want folks to miss. So I'm really trying to stress that. So 5:30 tomorrow, take club peace building to the next level. Thank you. Thank you all. So Ryan, we can do now questions, right?
Yeah, we have a few different comments. And so we have Kathy Gibson here who has a few comments. So I'm just going to unmute Kathy, and yeah, please.
I just wanted to thank Jessica for being such a passionate advocate for peace building at Seattle 4 and across our district, and encourage you to support the efforts as individual Rotarians, as clubs, and boosting our presence as peace builders at the district level. So Jessica, thank you.
Well, thank you, Kathy.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Sulla Sweet, you had a good comment.
Yeah, I put this in the chat box, but I have been attending the Rotary E-Club of World Peace for 2 years, every Tuesday night, online. They're an online club, so they got into this before the rest of us had to learn how. And amazing presenters every week. They're the ones that were major actors in organizing the Peace Conference in Ontario, California in January. And the information for their website is in the chat box.
Thank you. And I'm going to take all that and then share it through next session. So thank you very much.
Thank you. And Mark Phillips had a comment.
Would you like me to read it?
I would. Yes, please. Thank you.
Well, I appreciated the reference to racism and the possibility of a book club around that topic, perhaps, because I do think that African Americans in the United States experience far less peace than many of the rest of us do. So I'm wondering if there are, Jessica, if there are clubs that you know of or activities anywhere in the Rotary world where combating racism has been an activity and a pursuit.
Yes, I think Well, a few things. One, I'm going to even dig further to find out from other clubs in our district, and then even spread out and find any club that may be a great example of this. So I appreciate your thought and question on that. From my experience through Seattle 4 and the book club, we have been very dedicated to this topic, particularly actually in the last 8 months or so that we've really been working on this, almost a year. And the first book that we chose to read together was So You Want to Talk About Race? And then the book that we actually read, and it is so popular in terms of thoughtful discussion, we're actually going to have a part 2 discussion, and the book was White Fragility. It was actually the one that I used as a photo. And what has been amazing about this is that we've not only read the books and then gathered, but we've used one of our incredible fellow Rotarians at Seattle 4 who does do diversity, equity, and inclusion work professionally. And she's just volunteered her efforts to help guide discussion around this. So it's been nice that we haven't been left to our own devices necessarily. We've had a wonderful framework to work around this. So I've been deeply inspired by that. So that's sort of where the impetus came from. And then Kathy Gibson and I have constantly talked about this, wanting to take it to the next level. So I appreciate your comments. I think you're right on. And I think what I'm going to then do is sort of zoom out a little bit to see if there's other clubs in our district. Excuse me, I'm getting a tickle. And if not, and then also kind of see if there are other clubs just in Rotary that are doing a good job in this that we can take from.
Excellent. Are there other questions or comments? The hand raise always works as well. Doesn't appear to be. Here we go. Brenda Diamond.
All right. Jessica, could you elaborate a little more on the one member that can join the district level for the peace engagement? You indicated engagement, educate, and empower. Could you elaborate on that, how you can join that? And
Sure. Everything's very easy. So let me clarify. So one is, if you are a Rotarian in a peace club, if you are a Rotarian in a club that does not yet really focus on peace efforts at all, and want to start, then what I suggest is that you start talking to other Rotarians in your club and club leadership to find out how to get started. Really, it only takes up to 2 members. Obviously, let's hope you have a bit more, because more people excited about something is going to help build momentum. There's no other sort of framework to say that there's a must. That's the beauty of this. It's just that if you're interested and you have folks that are also interested in your club to be the sort of stewards of these efforts, then that's what it takes. In terms of coming on board at the district level, it's really the same thing. I'm honored to be the chair, and I look forward to being the chair for as long as folks will have me. I'm also very much wanting this to be collaborative and a partnership. So number one, I'm hoping for committee members who will join our district peace building committee. And what I'm telling people is, if you're a part of a club that isn't necessarily a Peacebuilder club, don't let that stop you from joining us. I just want people to understand this is open to you. And then the other piece is that I'm very aware of good succession planning. So I want to build a thorough and wonderfully engaged committee, because I want our peace building efforts to continue in strength and to get stronger as we start rotating off, because I obviously won't and shouldn't be chair forever either. So bottom line is, any interest in peace building efforts, whether it's within your club or at the district level, at the district level, reach out to me directly. At the club level, just start talking to some folks. And please do reach out to me if there's a way that I can help, because I would be more than happy to do so. I've had a chance over the last year or so to visit with some clubs, to present at some clubs. One of my favorite things truly was to just come to a club, Peacebuilder Club committee meeting, and really get a chance to get to know people more individually that way and on a more intimate basis, and to start thinking and planning together. So, you know, I'm here as a resource for you as well to reach out to offline anytime. I hope that helps a little bit in terms of what you're asking.
Thank you.
Kathy, did you have a follow-up?
No.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Excuse me. Sala, did you had a comment, question?
Unmute button.
There we go.
Okay. The comment was just that the University District Club is working with something called Peace Jam, which is kind of a partial answer to the person, was it Mark, or that asked about discrimination and so forth.
Mhm.
And it teaches youth anti-bullying skills and peace building skills and the kinds of things that youth need to learn in order to make our culture better in the future. So that we're working with Peace Jam in the Boys and Girls Club in Wallingford, and we've also provided a buddy bench at 2 or 3 schools to help youth learn how to help each other across differences.
Excellent. Thank you.
Stella.
Howard Cohen had a question.
Hi, Jessica. Great
Hi.
program. And yes, I hope you do follow into my year as the chair, because it'd be great to have you continue on. My question is, I went to the Peace Conference in Ontario. I know there's one that was scheduled for next year in Birmingham, Alabama.
Yes.
Do you know any update on that because of COVID? Is that still in the plan?
I am very glad you're asking this question. I do not know the answer, but I was looking. I was trying to dive deep because I was, if it was going to be, if any information was available, I was going to try to put it on our slide deck and share it. I didn't see anything, anything past 2020. And I just wondered if that, and so I'll continue to look. I completely could have missed something somehow, but it just seemed really consistent that I think folks aren't putting anything out yet because they don't know.
I have to say that the Peace Conference that was in Ontario was a life-changing moment.
Yeah.
That was just the most amazing conference to attend. And the passion and the stories and the takeaways were just life-changing. And I look forward to going to Birmingham if that is available.
Yeah, and you and Kathy had mentioned that a lot, and that's partly why I really wanted to make sure that it was on our radar. I definitely won't lose sight of it, partly because I will be there if it's happening and happening safely, and I will definitely stay on top of trying to see if information will become available, at the very least to let us know, you know, 1, is it happening, is it not, or 2, how are these things happening if they are going forward.
Right.
So thank you for mentioning that.
Mm-hmm.
I heard a little evidence of a beagle in the background.
I know, I'm sorry. He likes to tell me when he's ready to eat. It's not very polite.
There's no barking, with a little bit of scratching, it sounds like.
Yes, yes. He says, please feed me right now.
Are there other comments? I see Mark Phillips, your hand is raised. Is that from your previous question? Or did you have another question?
No, that was my previous question, and it was well answered, so thank you.
Okay, great.
Thank you, Mark.
And have I missed anybody? Brenda, your hand is raised as well. Did we get Oh, not anymore. So I think dropped it down quickly there. Well, I think that wraps up our session. And then the next one's tomorrow at 5:30, right?
Yes, tomorrow at 5:30. So please spread the word to folks to come. I'm really excited about what we've got planned. And again, tell folks if they're looking at 5:45 that we've adjusted the time slightly. Thank you so much for joining and bearing with us, as this was our first time together, Ryan and I. But Ryan, you were a lifesaver. Thank you very much.
Just don't have many videos and everything. 3 skills here. So great. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful evening.